So we are back very quickly today because I was responding to the comments, and of course, you know, with the one or two people that look at my videos, shout out to Relation and people who don't have anything better to do at work. There was too much trade and not enough wars in the last game, and I also got a comment mostly from the cancer cells in my brain saying, hey, you said that you played this game in the 1980s. This was clearly released in 1990. How do you justify that? Well, shut up, one. And two, yes, Trade Wars 2002 was released in 1990. It says it clearly when you start it up. But Trade Wars had been around forever. I'm sure that there are probably Wikipedia sites related to that. This was the game I bought. It's not the first game I played. In those days, one of the reasons you actually did buy this was so that you could understand more about the game and how it worked. You know, if you were a subscriber to another board, you didn't have access to like the sysop software or, you know, the special internal dealings of how everything worked. So, you know, it was hoped that by understanding those, you would, you know, get a leg up in the game. I don't know that that ever helped me get a leg up in the game, but you know, it was the fact that we played it constantly with each other on a dial-up bulletin board, and that we also wanted to be able to have small personal worlds or just a group of friends who get together and play. So, you know, we would set up our own variations, and then we'd be able to do stuff like, you know, hand people money at the beginning of the game and get a leg up. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. My trading was also not great last time. I have traded so much and forgotten so much about this game that I really don't want to start there. When a game comes out, you know, play the snot out of it. I played hundreds of hours of this game. So I really don't have an interest in revisiting that. I mean, we eventually got to the point where we weren't even playing Trade Wars for the trading. We set up scripts to trade, and there's like a natural progression. You first get the game and you play the snot out of it, and then you decide, oh, there are smarter ways to do this, there are faster ways to do this. So we would set up scripts to do the trading, and then you'd set up scripts to do the fighting, because often when you got into a sector with another adversary, it was a lot quicker to do a key combination to attack than it was to actually go through the menus. As you watch me go through the menus, you can see why. And it was very often, you know, the first one who attacked and ran away was the winner or whatever. So scripting became important. And the other thing, the other reason where it's super hard to spend 1,000 hours now training again is they release these so often that one of the fun things that would happen, and it's a terrible thing, you know, you've got that initial release of software where you're all playing it for the first time, and it's sort of that golden time where everybody's learning about it, and then you get to the point where you start modding it and changing it, and you have the cheats. Well, I don't know why, but Trade War suffers from an issue where you could, during the course of trading, there were a number of places where you could accidentally bug the game and get too many resources, which you could then trade for too much money. So eventually, after we've been playing it for long enough, Trade Wars became about playing the game when a new release came out, to find the bug, to generate as much cash as possible, to buy as many fighters as possible to go out and kick people's butts. I was thinking about this today, and other games have that issue. If you think about like Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, in 76 you've got the duping bugs. In Fallout 4, bugs anytime where you had a stack of things and all of a sudden your stack doubled or tripled in size, and then you could sell those for resources, or sell those resources for caps. It's all sort of related back to how information are stored in a computer program, or an assigned integer, and how large a number, and when it becomes negative, and you know, most of those just annoying little glitches seem to come from people working on larger developments, coming up with their own ways to code addition and subtraction and doing it a little bit wrong or not considering the data type they're using. And all of a sudden you have this interesting bug where you can buy as many fighters as your ship will hold. So that would be something that we would do later on. And then it was kind of fun because you could run around and attack people. So let's take a look at the game. Oh, one other thing. I dug around in the logs. I haven't run maintenance on this since 2001. So apparently this was running at some level in 2001. Well, I'd already moved down to Madison at that point, so I was still messing around with this like 4 years after I graduated from college and moved down to Madison, Wisconsin. So here we are avoiding or scanning for hazardous sectors. I'm going to need a pen and paper here. Ignore the noise. We're totally going to edit this part out, probably. Maybe. All right. Just ignore all that noise. Ooh, something's happening. Oh. Enter to continue. Okay, so I just paid 3 million credits in taxes. And there's a reason for that. I went in and edited the game files. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. And I gave myself a nice Imperial starship with a ton of equipment, a bunch of defenses. I've got 50,000 fighters. Got, you know, a holographic scanner that'll let me see, you know, the next sector over, and I've got 72 million credits there. So having 72 million credits is a terrible idea because this is one of those early games where if people killed you, they got your stuff, I'm pretty sure. So anybody who would take me out and my mighty fleet would immediately get all of my dosh. So that's a terrible idea. So we're going to go to Sector 100, and we're going to use the transwarp drive. Okay, we're going to jump out in a minute here. I'm going to pay those high taxes again, and we're going to look at the editor I used. It comes with a program that lets you edit these things, and we're going to look for some of the enemies. And I haven't killed anyone yet. I've been messing with my ship off camera. Yes, it's true, but I'm going to show you how I did that. This would be the cheating phase of playing the game. And yes, we are going to engage. Okay, now we have gone here. We are warping. My transwarp drive was engaged. Honestly, I don't know if that was any faster than a standard jump. It might have saved me some turns. So now we're going to dock. Oh, wrong one. We're still not going to attack the port because we'd still pretty much die. Okay, we're going to solve our fuel R. Okay, so I also bought a probe that shows me that I only got 92% of the cash I could have, so I could have jacked him up a little bit on that, but oh well. Land on the star dock. Okay, here we go. Here's some more of that fantastic ANSI art. One of the reasons I like coming to Star Dock is there used to be a library. I don't know if there is in this version of the game, but you'd go there and they'd have all sorts of lore about aliens and stuff. I was looking online where they were talking about it, and they said, oh, the library doesn't do anything or doesn't add anything to the game. Oh my god, so untrue. I looked at the library one time and then I spent, you know, the next 2 years of my life trying to find these aliens. It blatantly lies to you. It doesn't do anything. What are you talking about? Made the game awesome for a little while until I realized it was all made up. Alright, so there are posted and unposted places you can go. You know, I've been on lockdown for months and I haven't been able to go see a movie, so let's go see a show at the theater. I need some diversion. Let's see what we got. I saw Vulcan Thunder earlier today. I think we definitely have to do 200 credits. It was only 100 credits for Vulcan Thunder. We could always, oh wow, it was a Pornamount picture. We can always cut this out if it doesn't, you know, seem appropriate for adults or, you know, who's ever on the internet. The other thing I like about it is since it's ANSI block based, it's also self-editing. I mean, if there weren't any nudity, you couldn't see anyway because of the blocks. Okay. All right. I think we're looking at a building. Nice looking building with some neon there. Seems classy. We seem to be approaching a door. Okay. Oh, we got to the intrigue pretty quick there. We're trying to find the coordinates to the hidden starbase. There's a phaser. Okay. I'm not quite sure what I saw there. I have to look at that again. Either they shot the phaser or I don't know what that was, but it was a quick shot. I also went to the shipyard. That's where I got my ship. I went to the Lost Traders Tavern. I talked to the crazy trader in the back. Wasted some money on that guy. He'll give you hints about the game. I put some money in the bank. Okay, so let's quit and we'll go into T-Edit. We need to attack some people. We need to, oh yes, cloaking device, sure. I gotta address that egregious issue. There wasn't enough violence, so let's put some violence in here. We already got the adult themed movie, so now we'll do some violence. Do some violence. Don't do violence, kids. Don't do violence. I don't know why it's asking me for my name here. So I would guess that this was also designed to just run from a bulletin board system, so I'm not using the software right. I hope I don't have to explain that I'm an idiot, but you know, this is supposed to be fronted by a bulletin board, and I don't have one set up. So in theory, if you get a bulletin board, you could also edit your Trade Wars maps this way. And let's take a look at, okay, general information is super helpful. I went in here and I changed one thing. See, there you got your turns per day. Okay. 9,507 days ago, maintenance was ran. So we're gonna run that at some point and see what happens there, because there's a small chance that it'll pretend like a day went by and we'll get a couple more Ferengi and, you know, prices will go up, and there's a small chance that 9,500 days will go by and we'll get 1,000,000 Ferengi and bad things will happen. I don't know. Once again, it's like that library. Seems very exciting. Probably means nothing, but we're going to try it. So then we've got the password. We've got some locations of some starships. Okay. Got some Ferengi. The game age is 11,000 days old. Nice. I don't know that I ever got into the underground. I might have to do that. There's a ton of this game I never played. It wasn't like the internet where people were passing around information. Okay, I do have to say that once somebody figured out a bug in the game that would let them generate infinite credits, we all knew that in a day. But no, I didn't know that I could talk to a hidden trader. At least I don't remember being able to do that, but you know, I could be wrong. All right, so I moved the Stardock sector to 100. And there's some other port zeros. So we're going to take a look at 3051, 1386, and oh, okay, 1725 for the Ferengis. We're gonna, we might die, but we'll see. I gotta do that warring thing. Okay. There we are. Okay. Oops, push the wrong button. Push the wrong button. Push the wrong button. There we go. As you can see, this is a very impromptu video, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I've forgotten most of the stuff I was supposed to tell you about. I should write up a script for these. And I really should have recorded this afternoon when I was goofing around with it. I got to the point where I had a ship, but then I couldn't attack anybody because it'd be off camera. What internet gold? So this audio was added a little later. We had a ton of problems last night. Oh my gosh, just the whole day seemed to go sideways on me. So our main three problems were that the mighty IBM XT is very slow. So when it would have to calculate warping across the number of sectors, you know, that would take 40 or 50 seconds. So I then had a 3-hour video. It was not helped by the fact that I'm still having a lot of issues with my keyboard not working. Oh, there it is. I called it the 50-year-old casual gamer 3, and all of a sudden the 68 jumped in for the ride. So I had to heavily edit the video and remove anywhere where the keyboard went insane. There you can see 3 different commerce reports. And I also removed a lot of the weights associated with transwarps and other things that were just lengthy. I mean, 30-40 seconds at a shot. I don't really expect anyone to watch the video, but if you do, I sort of want it to make sense and for the action to properly flow from one encounter to another. But I also don't intend to show the ANSI art every time we dock at Stardock. So in a lot of these from this point on, we're going to just cut to the store and what I'm buying. So in terms of problems, this is interesting. So if you're watching when I actually enter numbers, a lot of times I'm told what the max is. In that case it was 1500, but I couldn't buy that. It would kick me out. But I just bought Corbomite devices. Now a Corbomite device has the interesting effect of when your ship is exploded, it's like a weapon that as you die you take out the person who killed you sort of deal, and does tremendous damage. And all that I can think is that later on, when I actually invaded Ferengi space, that this ship had so much Corbomite on it that we heavily damaged the Ferengi forces. That's my theory. In reality, it probably just bugged out and erased the Ferengi forces when the keyboard sent a stream of gibberish and locked the computer up. But, you know, I'm thinking, no, it was my advanced planning and the buying of the Corbomite device. So here we're going to actually get into the battle. Now, couple things, just remembering how the game was played. I had thought initially that you wanted to be careful not to overattack with overwhelming force, as you could blow up the ship that you were attacking. So we've got 3 Ferengi assault traders here, and so I was trying to whittle them down when I'd attack. That turned out to be entirely unnecessary. It's probably better to be. Wow. Okay, so I just went into the Ferengi sector, took a ton of damage. So there's apparently a cannon on the planet that's shooting me. We've just lost 103,000 battle points. My interdictor cruiser has been destroyed. That was over quick. So now I believe I am in a tiny escape pod, and I don't feel good about the tiny escape pod. So now I'm going to cheat. I'm going to the editor, find my tiny escape pod, and give myself an upgrade. Now, you may be asking, couldn't you have just removed the Ferengi? I mean, isn't that just another number on another screen here? Well, yes. Straw man, I could have done that. That would have been super easy to get rid of them. But as I'm in here, I'm like, oh, I think I want a Ferengi dreadnought. That sounds pretty cool. And once again, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure if you show up in a Ferengi sector with a captured Ferengi ship, that they get a little salty. So here I'm over-shielding and over-fightering the ship. I'm clearly exceeding the limits. And I just wanted to see at what point it would tell me no. And it never told me no. That, it wouldn't let me do it. So, alright, it gave me, what is that? Those are 7 9s. So, almost 10 million fighters and 5 million shield points. Got to pick up an ice scanner, for your ship. Obviously, I'm not doing so well since I'm already on my 4th ship in the assault. But yeah, let's give it a transwarp drive, something nice. I mean, you've got the money, let's spend it. Alright, so now we're going to go back in and do the magic of editing. We're there. We've paid 300,000 credits in taxes, and we are being attacked. My 9 million fighters versus their 3,000 fighters. Okay, so less convenient. I can have the 9 million fighters, but I can only attack 5,000 at a time. So in a situation like that, so I went 5,000 against 3,000, and how many did I lose? I lost 2,289. So there's a ratio where I used a little bit of overwhelming force and got a little bit better count in the attack. Now I have a Ferengi assault trader, which I am going to tow. This is a huge mistake, because now it costs 8 turns for every sector, and later on when I want to run around the map, I will have completely run out of turns because I was capturing Ferengi ships. The computer's about to die, so let's take a look at what happens here. We took a ton of damage, we took a quasar blast, the fighter attack sequence happened, and then the computer locked up for 10 minutes and restarted, and there is my error message. That is a keyboard error, so it's sending irritating keyboard characters when I don't want it to. So we come back in, we re-enter, we immediately get blasted again, more mines detonate against us, we get taxed, which is perhaps the deepest cut of all. And let's see what we still have over 9 million fighters left, and almost 5 million shield points. So we're doing a scan, and we put some mines out there. I think we put like 100 mines down in the one of the sectors outside, and we've already gone down to 63. So the other Ferengi are running for it. A lot of debris floating around here, and a couple of assault traders. So rather than invade, apparently I'm going to follow people around and see if I can attack him. So he's down to 2,447 fighters, and I am going after him. I will come for you, Rorkum Quoth Up. And I'm already down to 721 turns. So essentially, the Ferengi have a random fight or flight instinct, and in this case, I'd followed him around enough that he decided to go after me. So I'm using a more appropriate level of fighters to attack him. So I lost 1738. I still have 9 million, and the Craven Ferengi gets away. The ship is abandoned. There's another attack somehow. And the shields mightily take the response of the attack, or the full force of the attack. The response of the attack. It's after 10 o'clock again. So even though it's the future when this video was made, yeah. So once again, I am towing a ship, which is a terrible idea. But towing the ship sort of reminded me, oh yeah, that's right, you can capture these. Take them back to the Star Dock and sell them off. So that is what I'm going to do. For your benefit, I took out the calculation, but I left in the actual warping. I don't know why. I shouldn't have. This video would be 10 minutes long if I didn't do that. Okay, so I go through the Ferengi space again, take another huge hit. My autopilot goes off. I accidentally open the corporate menu. And I trade. Okay, so I can trade at the port. That's nice. So I am trying to figure out how to scan the planet, because I thought I bought a planet scanner. So, couple fighter attacks, lost some. Okay, so now this is the weird part. So now I only have 5,438 fighters left. A minute ago I had almost 10 million. So I make a mistake and I decide, well, it's probably just not calculating that correctly. Okay, it's not going to let me attack with a 5,000 for some reason. So now I can't use that handy ratio where I maximize the amount of fighters I use to ensure that I lose as few as possible. Now I'm just guessing. And 4,000 worked. So I was able to attack with 4,000. And that's not great, because he has many, many, many more fighters than I do. So as it turns out, planets get really good odds. I'm losing like 2 fighters for every one of his that I take out. So this was a terrible idea. Now I'm going to try and get back to Stardock to buy some uh, fighters, and oh look, uh, they're very angry at me, and they attack me. I am no longer outgunning them, so they have come for me. So I think I try and run. Let's take a look. Oh yes, I try and run. Should have used the transwarp drive. Should have had fuel ore in the tank. Could have gotten away then. And yeah, I'm in an escape pod, and I lost 2,800 experience points, and I will now avoid these sectors. So the other thing I realized that after I finished playing the game is that you don't want to avoid those sectors in reality, because it caused a lot of unnecessary travel, so I was wasting a lot of turns by allowing the game to remember not to go through those sectors. So at the end of the game, you know, after I make you watch all of it, then I finally realize, oh yeah, I should get rid of those, because that'll save me turns. So I did make it back, albeit in an escape pod. But I still have 6 million credits, so let's see what we can buy. The answer is not a lot. So escape pod's worth about 16,000 credits. Obviously, we're going to go with the interdictor cruiser. And the reason for that is you can put 100,000 fighters on it, which I think is the most you can do in game. You know, not cheating. But as it turns out, when I actually did try and buy some fighters in a second, you know, I may have 5 million credits, but I'm going to need about 20 million credits to fill that ship up. So I only end up getting about 24,908 fighters, which is better than 0. All the Ferengi were under 3,000, and the planet was only showing about 1,400 before I could land. So in theory, I should have enough. But it's at this point that my Fallout 76 hoarding reflex kicked in, and I decided I had better waste a half hour of my time, everyone's time, by trading off those Ferengi ships I captured. So in fact, it was a lot more than half an hour, because I probably had like 5 hours of video. You know, I'd get to play for a little bit. Actually, the reason I came back and added this sound voiceover was because it's now 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in the zone, and I'm playing, and I could be a 21-year-old college kid not caring about the day. So I'm not talking to the camera, and you know, every now and then you hear keyboard clicks and me grunting in either like happiness or sadness. So here I'm going after a Ferengi ship, and I got it. So now I'm going to have to take that back and sell it off. The other interesting thing, though, is it's ship number 4, so it literally starts at 1. So player ships, there are 4 in game. I'm the only player, and I own all 4 of those ships. That just means that there are 3 sitting out there now that I have to sell off, and I am taking it with me and spending all the time. You know, it's kind of foolishness. I have better computers that I could run this game on. I mean, it is an 8 or a 16-bit game, and it's not compatible with a modern Windows 10 install. I might be able to get it to run through VirtualBox or using one of the DOS game programs that let you run old DOS files. And I've been thinking about that. You know, it would be cool to set up a COM port on a DOS VM and actually have a couple of these running. I mean, that would be a way to fake threading for a DOS app, would be to have like 5 virtual machines running, sharing disk, and I'd have to figure out the COM port situation though. I'm not entirely sure how I'd get VM COM ports back. Okay, so alright, so I sold it, I got 70,000 credits, it's going to give me 583 shields. They'll be gone moments after I try and land on the planet, but that's okay. And of course, once again, I super compressed my interaction at Stardock and took off a lot of the really fancy ANSI artwork. I love it. I absolutely, as I said, got in the zone last night and was just enjoying every minute of waiting for computing shortest path. And that was taking 30 to 60 seconds before I cut it out of the video. It is just amazing how much you're moving in this game and doing just it's an allegory for life, really. So much busy work and then 2 seconds of violence and your life is messed up. So much so, the violence comes so fast that you have to scroll back and see why exactly you're now dead. Alright, so I've got another ship. Okay, we're selling off another ship. And once again, we're getting all of those red sectors because we're avoiding a couple places we died. My brain says we don't have enough turns left. So at this point, I do have a few fighters, so if I was playing back in the day and somebody caught me, oh look, it's now the 28th. That was a really easy fix. I could also go in and give myself more turns too, but I just thought that this was funny. I wouldn't have felt so bad about being stranded with 25,000 fighters, but it's still, you know, you'd want to have that cloaking device on so that people wouldn't come and chip away at you while you're sitting there. So I made a dumb mistake here too that I cut out. So in leaving the game and come back, my tractor beam turned off, so I had to turn it back on. But in real life, what I did was march all the way to port 100, notice that my tractor beam was turned off, then march all the way back, you know, wasting 20 or 30 turns. But the turns are free. I remember we would play around with the number of turns in game. You know, you could have 10,000, you could have 2,000. Pretty much the default was 1,000. And we were losing enough of our life to this that, you know, any more was a terrible idea. Well, I've got 4 credits back left to my name. Okay, let's sell off the ship. I have no idea what the password is. But I made 52,000 credits. I should actually, there's so much in this game that I think if you put a password on it, then you'd have to pay to clear the password or something. I forget. I bought some more shields. So now I should have over 1,000 shields. Yeah, my math works out. And we're heading back to 1725. 180 turns. So for those of you who are good at math, that means I can afford to make this trip about 5 times a day. But in reality, only, 3, because I'll screw it up and do it accidentally wrong twice. No, don't avoid. Ah! Okay. Oop. I did lose some shields. Alright, we're invading. Dun 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 dun. And once again, I thought I equipped it with a planet scanner, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. Okay, so I just took some more damage. Ooh, I've already lost about 8,000 fighters. And probably all of my shields. Yeah. Attack with everything! No, you can only use 5,000. Is it going to let me use 5,000? There we go. So that is a terrible number. So my 5,000 fighters destroyed 2,000. His fighters. I did clear the planet, and I am ready to invade. But as it turns out, my interdictor cruiser cannot land there. So I took off. It can take a pounding, but it has to run away. Gravity, it cannot take a pounding from gravity. So right now I'm confused. So I need a ship. Let's see, I have 37,000 points, a tremendous alignment. 11,000 fighters, still doing pretty good. I think at this point I realize I have other ships that I haven't sold off that I can use. And there it is. I've got an assault trader in in sector 1580. Now, here's the thing. I'm in the interdictor. I could use my, I could beam over to that. My transporter. I could use my transporter. Oh my god. All the tropes from all the movies and books. But the problem is, that ship is defenseless. I think it has like 1 fighter. And if I try and bring it back into Ferengi space, there's a good chance that I'm going to hit something or set off a mine, because I haven't cleared those out. And so there we have Zishwig Vucevical with 1,700 fighters. He would love it if I were just sitting there defenseless so that he could blow me up. That would be fine for him. So what I'm going to do is deploy some fighters to the sector in an offensive stance, transfer the ship, pick them up, and then I can finish my invasion of the planet. But, now I've split my remaining forces. I am also mostly broke. I think I've got 500,000 credits. But I think we discovered that 5 million credits will buy you 25,000, so 500,000 credits will buy you 2,500, probably, fighters. So we won't be invading any other planets soon. We have to get back to the 50-year-old casual gamer. We're going to take the Ushwig Texugdo and head over there. We're going to beam to it. Something I'd honestly completely forgotten about until I realized, oh yeah, you can use different ships for different things. So that assault trader can land on the planet. It can also be better configured for trading. Here we go. Oh, so I cleared out all the ANSI arc but left the transporter in there. Oh, nice. So something I didn't think about is, yeah. So my assault trader can only beam intersector. So the nice thing about the interdector cruiser is I could beam 20 hops. And I think I can do that without using turns. So you can actually use these to jump around between your various holdings. I think I also mentioned that at the end of the video when I'm much more tired. I believe now I'm going to pick up some of those fighters. Discover that I can only carry 3,000, so it will yell at me. I always thought it was funny to leave like one fighter out charging a toll. It just aggravates people. Alright, oh, we've got some organics. I've been blown up 3 times. Oh, the humanity. Who said we wanted to do trade wars? I just wanted to trade. Why did you have to make it about the wars? Danger warning overridden. Actually, you know, the warning that should be on here is for people susceptible to flashing images. I'll probably have to put one of those warnings in the beginning of this video. See, we didn't take the planet, so I just lost a lot of fighters coming back down. So now this is cool. Level 3 Citadel. I forget what the levels mean, but I think it has to do with the ability to support that cannon, levels of population, some of the other benefits like having the ability to store your money there. So I remember planets being a problem in that when you would try and set one up, people would take them away from you, and then you continually lose resources trying to manage and keep planets. But they're also obviously, if you're not playing with jerks, a very easy way to generate income as long as nobody's trying to take them away from you. And I should also say that this cost billions of credits and was by no means worth invading Ferengi, but, you know, we had to do the war. And here I'm finding out that I can only beam intersector. And I'm going to have to move. So now things are getting a little bit dangerous because I used up 2/3 of my fighters. Oh, look at that, haphazard. Yeah. Well, actually, way more than 2/3. I only have 322 left. So I know that there's at least one Ferengi running around out there, and I would not have survived that encounter. I'm picking up the fighters, and I'm moving to oh, come on, we gotta go after 48-48. There you go. This is about the wars, my friend. Zishwig Wusagal has plagued me. Oh, that's the wrong one. $49.83 goofball. For the last time, I will surrender. Okay, now once again, I can only use 5,000, so I'm going to use 5,000. I've collected 200K. And I lost 1,500, so I probably did a little better than breaking even on that one. And now I have another ship. Unfortunately, now it costs 19 turns for every sector. $17.25 goofball. Okay, it's almost 1 a.m. at this point. Let's leave Tired Bill alone. Oh, Tired Bill did not remove the length of time it took to compute this. Wow. And here again, since we had a battle, it's now marked some sectors that if we were to travel through, it'd be much easier to get to 1725, but we're going the long way around. And I think I've decided that we're being stupid, and I'm finally going to clear up the list of avoids, which is said than done, because I think that's X. No, it's B. It's definitely B. And then 0. 0. Come on, press 0. Oh my God, I'm so slow. Yes. Yes. And there, I think I just accidentally turned off my tractor beam for no reason. Well, the reason was it's 1 a.m. and I'm tired. And there we have a much shorter path, but it's still 76 turns. So now I have 2 ships. Yeah, so I lost 20 fighters just coming into the sector. Well, 41 fighters coming into the sector. There's only 2 mines left now. So probably don't want to go to the assault trader that only has 0 fighters. Okay, my time here is short. I'm going to hand off to Tired Bill about 1 a.m. last night so he can give you the recap. Thanks. I must be running out of turns by now, so a lot of things are coming back to me. I do not wish to avoid this in the future. So one of the ways to save on your daily turn limit is to use the transporter, but you need a large ship like the Interdictor to go across many sectors, because the assault trader I'm on right now will only beam intra-sector, so you have to be in the same area. So you can use those large Interdictor cruisers to move around between your various holdings in the universe. Once you can afford a couple of them, they're not terribly expensive. I mean, all ships cost less than 500,000 credits. So, and I think I did 50,000 trading within an hour the other day. So it's not terrible to get one, but to fill it up with fighters and hulls will bankrupt you. So essentially, I took out the Ferengi today. Yay! There was a battle. And to do that, I bugged the game, gave myself 9,999,999 fighters and about 500,000 shields. Came in, got pounded. The game locked up because the keyboard freaked out. When I came back in, I had fewer than 6,000 fighters left, maybe a little more. So I ran back and forth between here and the star dock, and sold off a bunch of Ferengi ships that I had collected throughout the day. So that was a lot of work. And so this game by default gives you 1,000 turns a day, and literally towing one of those larger ships back just crushed my turn count. So it was 19 turns per sector. I was regularly using like 200 turns just to take a ship and sell it off, and it's not that profitable. I mean, to kit out a ship with a lot of fighters costs a lot of credits, and then when you sell a higher end Ferengi assault vehicle, you get 50k. So a lot easier to just do the hours worth of trading yesterday to get the 50k than it was to take almost 1 billion credits, turn it into 0 credits, and was it 1 billion credits or 10 million credits? I think it was 10 million credits, sorry. And turn it into 0 credits within 24 hours. But I mean, I also sincerely cheated in giving myself millions of fighters and millions of shield points. So that was a battle. Let's land, see how the people are doing on the planet, see if it shoots at me again. Created by unknown. Oh, I got 183,000 credits, so that's nice. Well, I've got a feeling the Ferengi are going to be a little bit pissed off at me, but and I don't have a scanner. Oops, I'm landing again. Oh, good, 90 points left. Oh, not doing too bad. Having fun. So, okay, next video I'll run the server maintenance and see how much of my empire I lose.